Have you heard about Korean thrillers?
Ever heard of Korean thrillers? When you think of Korean stories, what immediately comes to your mind? Beardless boys? Historical stories? Love stories? Then sorry to say that you don't know about the most valuable part of Korean cinema. Korea is a kingdom of emotional perfect thrillers. While Western Hollywood cinema is gradually paying more attention to fantasy, Korean filmmakers use stories that include events that can happen to people in their daily lives. Anyone who has seen movies like Train to Busan will understand how they make a fantastic emotional story even if it is a fantasy story. So there are many other equally excellent thrillers hidden among the famous works like Parasite, Old Boy, Train to Busan that everyone has seen.
So today in this video we will talk about 10 best thriller movies produced in Korea.
Forgotten. Here is a thriller made by Netflix together with South Korea. There are two brothers in this. This story is told by the younger brother Jin-suk. This story begins with him and his mother, father, and brother going to their newly bought home in the car. Yes, that is the beginning of everything. Here, Jin describes Yo-suk, who is his brother, very proudly. Anyway, Jin realizes that everything that has happened since the day he came to this new house is a little strange. It culminates when he sees his older brother Yo being kidnapped by a group of people in a car while he is watching. So, 19 days after the abduction, his brother suddenly comes home again. His brother says that he has no memory of the past 19 days. Jin begins to understand that there is something strange about his brother's behavior as well as that of his parents. Jin thinks that these are not the people he has known before and that they are a separate group. At this time, he decides to run away from home to get help from outside. After that, things get more complicated. Can't say beyond that. The only thing to say is to watch this. You will not be able to imagine how 108 minutes went by. No Mercy. Vengeance is like a delicacy for Korean filmmakers. There are a lot of revenge stories in Korea that are so crazy that the viewer's eyes and tongue jump out after adding the spices. So the best story in the meantime is No Mercy. Kang Min-ho, a talented forensic doctor, is waiting to retire when he suddenly has to solve a crime involving the body of a young woman left by a river. The parts of dead body are separated in a certain order. Because of this, the forensic doctor understands that there is a message in this dead body. Detective Minute Seo-young, who solves this case with this forensic doctor, arrests Lee Sung-ho, who was an environmental activist, as a suspect in the murder. And he soon admits that he is guilty of these murders. So, it's very simple. Does everyone think that's the end of the story? Not. That is the beginning. In the end, what will be the fate of the skilled judicial officer? What is his connection to these murders? Are the people who think we are good really good and those who say bad are really bad? It is up to you to understand. It must be said that there is a good unpredictable ending. The Wailing. The Wailing is a wonderful movie that covers the three aspects of horror, mystery, and thriller well. A story that can be watched out of curiosity with a good thrilling story, away from traditional horror movies where ghosts jump on bodies. If you don't understand the ending, there are many explanation videos. The story begins with a mysterious epidemic and a series of murders that happen along with it, which is said to be connected with Japanese men who come to live near a village. The daughter of Jong-gu, a police officer who tries to solve these problems, also becomes a victim of this mysterious plague. At the same time, Jong's journey to find the connection between the epidemic and the Japanese man is the basis of the story. Little by little, more characters have joined this story. And this story has been built to such a level that it is impossible to guess who is really responsible for this epidemic until the last 5 minutes. Horror fans would like to recommend it as a must-watch. Train to Busan. Many people have seen this. This movie has been added to this list to inform anyone who has not seen it. This film can be called as one of the occasions when Korean cinema gained international attention. It includes a touching story of a father and daughter who face the spread of a zombie virus in South Korea. Will these two be able to escape the fast zombies coming from all around and get to Busan safely by train? A must-see. In difficult situations, people become beasts as well as angels in an emotional way. It is built in a very emotional way. Mother. Mother or Madeo is an early work of Bong Joon-ho, one of the most talented directors in Korean cinema. In a small town in South Korea, there is a widowed mother who sells medicinal plants and practices acupuncture without a license with her son, Yoon Do-jun. Her name is not really mentioned. So this mother protects her son from outsiders because he gets very angry when her son makes fun of Yoon about his disability. But unfortunately, Yoon, who even gets involved in a case, is arrested as a suspect in the murder of a girl named Ah-jung due to an accidental trip. Everyone should watch this movie to see what this mother, who knows very well that her son is innocent, will do to save her son when everyone is accusing this mentally retarded boy. You will understand how much a mother's love is and how much dedication a mother can make for her son. The Man from Nowhere. If you want to watch a good thriller with action, here is the best choice. The only friend of Cha Tae-shik, a former Special Forces soldier who currently owns a pawn shop, is a little girl named So-mi, who is a neighbor. Her mother, Hyo Jong, works with drug dealers. One day, Hyo brings home a load of drugs. It is smuggled to drug dealers. As a revenge for this, the smugglers who kidnap this mother and daughter trick Cha Tae into saying that they will be freed and hand over a contract. After doing that, Tae only finds Hyo Jong's dead body. Tae realizes that little So-mi, who is his only friend, is in danger and decides to save the child from these criminals. Meanwhile, the police suspect Tae of Hyo's death. So will he be able to escape from the police and save So-mi, who is near the traffickers? This is a great movie that you can watch in one breath. The Chaser. This can be considered as the best work of Na Hongjin, who directed the movie The Wailing. We can go on an exciting journey full of curiosity for almost 2 hours with this movie. To tell the story very briefly, Jung-ho Eom is a former police officer who was fired for taking bribes and now works as a prostitute dealer. Suddenly, 2 girls near him disappear. While searching for these 2, the girl named Mi-jin who is next to him also receives a call from the same number as the one who called the missing 2. So Jung sends Mi-jin to the client's home address to find out what happened to his 2 girls. Meanwhile, Mi-jin is trapped under her customer Young Minute. Meanwhile, Jung realizes that he is on the path of a cunning and very vicious serial killer. So will this former police officer be able to save his Mi-jin? Will it be possible to find evidence and lock this serial killer forever? See. An excellent film. I Saw the Devil. This is also a great movie about a serial killer. It must be said that this movie, which was released in 2010, is quite shocking. As for the story, Joo-yeon, the girlfriend of Kim So-hyun, who is a secret agent, is murdered in a horrible way. At this time, Kim, who swears to take revenge on the killer, somehow discovers that the killer is Kyung-chul, who is a serial killer. At this time, Kim, who does not want to punish the criminal by the law, takes the law into his own hands and arrests him and sets him free and starts a cruel game with the criminal. But the killer will not be as easy as Kim thinks. So in the end, will Kim's revenge be complete? Will the killer be properly punished? Will Kim have to die? How will the end of this terrible revenge be resolved? Watch and decide. Memories of Murder. Here is Bong Joon-ho's best work after Parasite. So, to tell the story briefly, in the year 1986, 2 women were raped and killed in a rural area of South Korea. This is handed over to 2 detectives named Park and Cho Yong. So these 2 arrest a suspect and beat him until he admits that he has committed a crime. In the meantime, a detective named Seo Tae-yoon arrives from Seoul to take over this. While searching for him at the root of these subtle crimes, a 3rd murder takes place. This makes them understand that they are dealing with the first serial killer born in South Korea. So will Seo be able to bring this criminal to justice? This is a film that everyone should watch. And a film that needs to be watched with good attention to everything. To say something else, this is based on a true incident in Korea. Old Boy. This is the thriller that can be put in the first place. A design that can be called a masterpiece. It was a movie that was even remade in Hollywood because it became famous among the audience. To be honest, this is the 2nd film of the Vengeance trilogy. So, in short, Dae-soo, who is mysteriously imprisoned for an unknown crime, is released after 5 years. Imprisoned as an innocent, Dae-soo is finally freed from prison by a fierce desire to take revenge on the person who imprisoned him. Later, he meets a young woman named Mi-do and it turns into love little by little. After a series of twists and turns, Dae-soo finds his captor and completes his revenge. That's where everything turns upside down. In the end, Dae-soo realizes that an undreamt of mistake he made in his youth is the root of all this. At the end, the viewer will wonder if it is possible to take revenge from a man like this. It must be said that it is a movie with the best twisted ending. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it.